Hey everybody, this is Johnny Mystery here, and in the Johnny Mystery lair, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a thunderstorm brewing in the distance, so we're going to go inside. So I'm going to talk a little bit about a gospel church gig that I recently started playing at, and just kind of some of the specifics on how that all goes, like as far as the different types of styles that you need to learn, and different types of situations that you need to work through musically, the number system, some of the, the licks and stuff that you'll end up needing to learn, and some of the styles that you're going to need to play. One of those is shout, and just some of the gospel progressions that they use in some of the songs and stuff. And so I'm going to walk you through that. I'm going to talk about the church that I went and I found that I've been playing at, and it's been a great time. It's been a blast, and it's been a musical adventure and journey for me. So without further ado, here we go. So I'm just kind of hanging out over here by this piano that kind of looks like Angry Birds, the way they have it painted. I've actually recorded stuff over here. But just kind of chilling because later I'm actually going to go and work on some stuff and do some practicing, do some work and stuff for my day job. But basically, the whole story of me doing a gospel gig kind of begins like this. I was actually just sitting here in this very place, and I had the bright idea to go on Indeed and put out a resume for a church gig. So there's a little statue there behind me. And I found a gig at a church that was kind of like a blend between gospel and contemporary Christian music.
Sing with me. I searched high and low, still couldn't find nobody. Up to another level. Come on, say we going up to another level. Say we're going up to another level. 13 neighbors say step and march, step and march, step and march. Come on, church. Step and march. Y'all not that old. And march. Hey. Step and march. Hey. Step and march. Hey. Step and tell them say we going up to another level.
What I ended up doing was I went ahead and I just made a resume. I made it in about 15 minutes and just had a couple of references on it. One was from a band that I play for, that's like a tribute band, and we've toured around and done a lot of stuff. And the other one was for a church gig that I played at many years ago. Well, not that many years, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago at the time I took the gig. And it just had, some references from the friend of mine who got me that gig, and his dad who was a pastor and stuff. And so it was kind of a thrown together resume, but it represented the musical experience that I had. Within 15 minutes, I ended up hearing from these guys, and I went the very next day to practice with them, and it was pretty awesome. I still remember to this day how it felt just playing with them. I got goosebumps. Just jamming out, because it just was such a good, it clicked, it felt really good. there's different progressions that you need to learn. One of them is like you might need to learn like gospel shout, and a lot of that is just, you know, it's kind of like a walking bass line.
10, 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Another thing that you'll need to learn is the number system, and there's different number systems. There's like the Nashville number system, and then there's just the basic one that's just, you know, 1 through 7, basically your notes, you know, your scale. So, and it's just, you know, whatever scale you're in, the 1 is the root note of that scale. So, and because they're going to be calling those out as you're playing. And so that's, yeah, that was a bit of an adjustment for me, but I got used to that, and I was able to, now I'm able to just hear things called out, and I'm already going through runs of notes and whatever pattern I have in my mind to play. Like I already know based on whatever they're calling, like where I'm gonna go, and I don't even have to think about it anymore. So another thing is just like, you know, your gear, like the things that you bring. So it's a little bit different than a normal band gig. Like when I go to play with my tribute band, I bring like a whole stack, like an amp and like all the, you know, cab and like a pedal board and like a bass and in-ear monitors and all this different stuff. And I'm going to do another video about that where I talk about like all the different stuff that I bring with me and like in different types of gigs and stuff, and some videos on like touring and how it is when you're going on the road in different situations and flying with your instrument and different things like that. So basically, like when you're at a gospel church gig, one of the things that happens in any church gig, just in general, is that you're probably going to be playing through in-ear monitor. The day that I got there, I actually wasn't prepared for this. Well, I was. Like I had some earbuds in my car, which I just went and grabbed, and I used those for the first night, and it worked, you know. Fortunately, they had a good amp there, so I could hear myself. And but that very same day, I ended up going and buying like a cheap pair of in-ear monitors. Like I bought a pair for literally less than $30 with like a single. They were single driver in-ear monitors, and they had like the cables with the things that wrap around your ears. So it worked, but they just couldn't get loud enough. Like when I needed to get it loud enough with the level for my bass, it would distort. So I used that for a time, and it worked for the purpose that I needed it for, and it also worked to kind of isolate the sound out from the outside. But eventually I had to get something better, so I got these, they were these KZ, and I'm not endorsed by these guys or anything, but like I think they were a great pair of in-ear monitors. They're called KZ. They had like 5 drivers, and I got them for like $50 off of Amazon. And I'll probably buy a couple more pairs of those just to have some backup. So it helped me evolve my setup too, as well as my playing. So a little bit about that. So you know, having a preamp makes it so that the sound that goes out to the main house is always the same. Like that's the sound from the preamp on my pedalboard that they hear out there. And then I can make a dry send to the bass amp so that I'm not trying to tweak the sound on my preamp for what I hear on stage, so that I don't mess up the sound that they're hearing out in the mains. And I'll go and listen, and I'll just, you know, check out like what they had on the live feed just to see how it sounded. And a lot of times I can hear everything, sometimes I can't. And if I hear what I played, like I'll listen to it and I'll be like, oh, well, you know, that wasn't the greatest thing to play in that spot. You know, I thought, like, at the time I'm up on stage and I think that I'm really killing it, like I'm really I'm playing some good stuff, and then I listen back to the feed and I'm like, what I played there kind of didn't really go as good. And then I kind of think to myself, like, okay, next time I'm going to do something more solid in that spot so that it just holds it down and keeps the groove going steady. Or I'm going to be more consistent with my notes so that I push it more consistently and it doesn't have like any spots where it kind of drops off or it just kind of loses the feel. So all that can be really helpful, because it's kind of like if you play a sports game, you know, and then afterwards the coach will sit down and show you guys a video of like how you did, you know, and go over the different things and like, okay, so this was the play we're supposed to be running, but we did this and we should have done that, and that's how you improve. Hopefully this helped give a picture and an idea of what that might be like if you were thinking of doing such a thing. And remember, as always, just, you know, like and subscribe, hit the bell for more, you know, similar content. I'm going to be putting out a lot more stuff. I'm going to be putting out some documentaries, some you know, what it's like to play in a tribute band, you know, like what it's like to record in the studio, you know, for, you know, or to record backing tracks for like a music video or live recording, or, you know, touring, what it's like to go on the road and tour. I just want to be able to turn it into something that other people can see and get an idea of what it's like, and just kind of get a taste of the life of what that's like, and if they're considering it, or if they're just wondering what, you know, what kinds of things you might encounter in different situations as a musician. I think this could really be helpful and useful for people, and I hope you enjoy the videos that are to come.